Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review how music got free. And this is from Paramount Plus. It's listed as like a hour 20-minute film documentary places. IMDb has it as a television series because they did break it into two parts. But generally, this documentary is focusing on the movement of a factory worker, Dell Glover, who became an early pioneer of illegal online film sharing. The whole Napster generation, LimeWire, all that stuff. My brother and I making, burning CDs of playlists and stuff like that, and all of that in the early 2000s. And this film, from a structural standpoint, is a little clunky, especially in the middle, where it's trying to transition to hey, this is two parts, so let's, it feels like it's trying to over-explain what happened before as it's transitioning into the second half of the film. And I've seen, two-part documentaries, like Steve Martin, a documentary in two pieces, stuff like that, that were able to balance that two-part structure in a lot better way than this feels a little clunky in terms of how they executed it. Generally, from a filmmaking standpoint, this is pretty standard affair documentary. It's just a bunch of talking heads and interviews and stuff like that. And there are moments where it's they're trying to shoot things overly dramatically. And in general, this film presents different perspectives, different sides to this story. You have the artists like Eminem who comes on, and, of course they had to have clips of Lars Ulrich from Metallica who went on a one-man mission against Napster. And you have all these executives in the music industry talking about how this completely was destroying their whole industry and destroying CD sales and record sales. And then, of course, the pirates, who they talk to a bunch of different people. I feel like this film struggles to really build a argument in this situation until it's at the very last moment, it's just and we should look at them as pioneers. And it's just oh. At the very last moment, it's just they did good things. And it's just I have complicated feelings about this particular issue that this film's taking on because I get it. People, money is a gateway to art at this point. And if you don't have money, you can't afford to get CDs, you can't afford to get streaming services today to watch movies, go to the theater, stuff like that. Trust me, I've been there growing up, didn't have a whole lot, and now I have 2 jobs, and I'm able to see a lot more and enjoy more of that art and have the privilege to be able to do this. But if you steal everything and people don't make money off of their art, then they're not going to make any more because, it's my biggest thing about, pirating movies. It's if you pirate new movies, you don't go to the theaters to go see them, they're not going to make them anymore. And there's going to be a lot less art, a lot less music, movies that are being made. And also, you're disrespect, and some of these pirates on this were so, but we're idolizing them. I guess we just didn't do it in the best way. It's just you stole their music, and it's just this is intellectual property, and I'm a big advocate of intellectual property. And I'm fine with this film, presenting these different perspectives. I think it does a good job of building sympathy for Glover in particular, because he wasn't just doing this because he's some privileged white kid who's just let's take the music to the people. It's just this guy's living in a dilapidated, dying town, and the only thing that's really alive is the CD factory, and he's trying to take care of his community and his family, and I understand that what he did was wrong, and I feel this film struggles to point out that what they did was wrong, and it takes that stance and then tries to put them up on some kind of pedestal. And I get it, because this whole entire situation revolutionized music, because then it pushed music into MP3s and into streaming and digital music that we have today. And art's going to evolve over time and how it's distributed. And sure, they were a big part in the evolution of music, but I feel like this film doesn't hold them as accountable and tries to make this some kind of indictment on, like, why would people be upset that they did this, and it's just like, because they did something wrong. And I definitely think that the film does a great job of villainizing the vilifying those that run these record studios, because like them suing like individual people for like all of that money is ridiculous. And obviously like you should be taking it out on the people who's stealing the music in the first place, but like it's crazy and wild, this documentary, and I just feel like it doesn't take a good enough look at this situation in a bigger perspective, and it comes in with a very narrow perspective and pushes that throughout the whole film. It's obviously a very entertaining watch. It just, I don't know if it handles this big idea, this big situation, this concept in the most interesting and compelling of ways. But those are my thoughts on how music got free. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.